make you a host. I can't make host. Okay.
It's awesome. Well, thank you for giving me the chance to teach this in the group. It's very, very exciting for me, Ken, and really I'm very happy to. Oh, I think I have to meet everybody.
Oh, are you the one who
I
has to
hope so. I
approve
have to.
people now? I think you're gonna have
Yeah.
to approve people. Yeah. Unless, does anyone know if he can share screen without being a host? Is that a thing? Because I don't want.
Yeah,
I think yes. You have to. You can go to the share screen in the middle. And okay,
okay, make me a host then again, and I'll take care of people coming in. Sorry, guys, this is the joys of technology and me. You think I know this shit after like 8 years of doing these calls.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm host again. Okay, beautiful.
Awesome. Well, let's get started then. Well, once again, thank you, Kat. Thank you for the time and the space for being here, everybody. This is very exciting, and I think it's going to be a lot of value for everybody in the class. So let me share a little bit what this is about, because I learned about this a couple of years ago, and I started doing constellation therapy. I don't know if you guys, any of you have heard about it, but family constellations, it's the name of this current, this type of therapy. Basically, what it says is that we are all connected with our family. Family constellations is like a therapeutic approach that basically tells you that we are all connected to our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, 7 generations up. And sometimes in our family systems, we can see different things. We have certain agreements or certain contracts with our grandparents, with our parents, and whatever happens in that system, it tends to replicate in our lives. So it's very interesting that more traditional type of family constellation therapy, you would go with a group, and somebody would represent. You would say, okay, I want to work this aspect of my life. Let's say I want to work my money situation. So you will choose someone to represent you, and the therapist will tell you, okay, somebody else is going to represent your dad and your mom, and maybe your money or whatever circumstance. And they don't know you. They have no idea of who you are. They have no idea of what are you going through. But in the system, once you put the system there, people start experiencing all kind of stuff, like, oh, I feel rejections towards my mom, towards my dad. So it's very, very interesting, because you can actually see what's happening with a group of people. And that's a more traditional type of constellation therapy. I found this approach, which a friend of mine that is a medium referred me to this, and she said, you have to go and do this and work with and see what's happening in your system, and see what's going on with your grandparents, and see if there's something holding you back. So basically, she taught me, okay, you have to do certain things. I'm going to tell you what you guys will need. You will need probably like a cardboard or a canvas, okay? And you will need some colors, or pencil colors, or pens, or like markers. And you're going to basically draw something like this, okay? You don't need to draw the tree though, but you just need to draw the circles. This is you, okay? And you're facing this way, like the bottom of the tree, right? And then your dad is standing right here on your back right side, and your mom on your left. And then you will go to your grandfather on top of your dad, and your grandma, and then great-grandfather, great-grandmother, and you just need to go 4 generations, you and them, right? And if you know their names, that's the best thing. If you can find out their names, that'll be the best thing to do. I went and researched, and I didn't know some of the great grandparents' names, but I went and did some research and homework, and I actually got their names. So this was very special, because it was a connection between me and them, right? And I found it to be something like very very powerful. You will feel it. Once you do the ritual, you will feel this. Anyway, you will need to mark this with a pen, with a marker, and do like a little circle. And in each little circle, you're gonna put a small candle on it, like those mini candles that Kat she showed us in the picture that I shared a month ago. And you will put a candle for every circle. So basically, you'll need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Like 18, I think. Yeah. I'm just making sure. 15. You'll need 15 candles for this. Okay. So it's not gonna, so you're gonna do this and it's gonna take some time, because what you want to do is have a conversation with your mom, with your dad, with your grandparents and great grandparents. And in a way, you will have to assume complete responsibility from what you're doing. The thing here is that you have to understand that everything that is happening to you and that happens to you serves you and has a bigger purpose. But sometimes there are certain things in your system that they don't work the best for you. As I was saying earlier, sometimes like you might have an agreement with a grandfather or a great grandfather, and it will show up here. And once you start the ritual, which I'll explain in a little bit, you will have, there will be things that will pull you to focus on certain candle, or you will start seeing certain things, right? And you just have to go with the flow and be very intuitive with it. And you might have to do this 3 or 4 times. So the outcome you're pursuing is that you want your candle to be the last one to burn down. Is that the right way to say it? Yeah. Okay. Because it means that you're receiving all of the power from the system. Okay. So for me, it was very funny. The first time I did this, my candle was like the first one that blew out. So I was like very upset. I was like, what's going on here? So I went and did it again next day. And this takes sometimes 3 to 4 hours because the candles are burning. But in my case, it was like the first one that burned out. And that wasn't a good sign, because it meant that I had to fix some things with my ancestors. Okay. So one of the things you will want to do is really take, you will want to write that down, whatever comes to you while you're meditating or just talking to the people in your system. And once the candles start lighting down, like, you will want to take note of whose candle was the first one that how do you say, blown down?
Or... yeah, burned down.
Burned down. The first one that burns down. And then the second, you just want to write that down, because that has a meaning, and it will probably have some sort of a meaning for you. And once you start doing this, okay? So does this make sense so far?
So you're lighting all the 15 candles at the same time. Does it matter if they're different colors, or they just need to be the same size?
They need to be the same size. I did it on with the same color, all of them.
Yeah, because sometimes different color waxes burn at different rates, don't they?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And those, they have to be the small candles, because otherwise it will take 4 hours. Okay. You don't want to put like a church candle, because that will be crazy, right? But the thing is, once you start doing this, what you're looking for is you're looking to break any contract that negatively hurts you, or that you're carrying on. Like if there's something in your lineage that you're repeating, you want to give that back to whoever owns that, right? And you will have, like, sometimes during the ritual, you will feel like, oh, I need to have a conversation with my grandma. Like for me in the beginning, I was like, okay, well, I bless you, all of you. And I was like being very nice, like, okay, I bless each and every one of you. And the reason why I'm here is because I want to acknowledge each and every one of you. That's important. I want to acknowledge because thanks to you, I'm here. I'm your son, your grandson, your great-grandson, and you gave me life, basically, right? And I want to destroy any contract that it might not fit my better well, that might have me stuck financially, or I might be stuck because of this. I'm repeating the same pattern that my great-grandfather, for instance. And I want to acknowledge each one of you, but at the same time, I want to ask for your blessing in order for me to continue on my own path with my own resources in a different way that you guys did. So it's a pretty nice way of, like, sometimes, and I'll share with you guys some of the questions you can start doing and so forth. But basically what you want to do is, first of all, acknowledge each one of them, each one of the people that are part of your system. You want to, if there's something you want to resolve, like with your mom, with your dad. For me, on the second day I lighted the candles, it was a great moment to say everything that I hadn't said to my parents, for instance. And it wasn't very, I was like, well, this hurt me, and this and this and this, and I love you, but at the same time I have to say it. I wanted to make sure that I came from a place of love and respect, but at the same time I wasn't holding anything back, which for me it was very good, because I felt like I released a lot of the things that I have been carrying for my entire life. So still, that was the second time I did this exercise. And the third time, what it was different was that I really went to the meditation, to the ritual, from a place of complete ownership, complete responsibility. I had released whatever I had to tell my mom and my dad and my grandparents. And I was there in a place with total responsibility and ownership. And I really want them to bless my pathway. That was the only thing I was looking for. I was there just to tell them, okay, I already asked to cut any bond that I might have that might be stopping me. But now I just want to acknowledge you. I want to take responsibility. If I hurted anybody in the system, I am responsible for that, okay? But I want to move on. And by doing this, it was very, very interesting, because that was a time where the candle mine went on and on and on, way after the entire other 14 candles had burned down. And that was a sign for me, because it meant that I had concluded this ritual in the way I was planning to. Okay? Does it make sense?
So you set an intention before, or you ask questions while you're doing it?
Great question. So the first thing I did is I wanted to resolve family issues. That was the intention. Like, I want to resolve any family issues that I might have with this. And then I want to clean my system with my parents, my great-grandfather, my grandparents and great-grandparents. And I want to, obviously, if I have some specific intention, once I start the ritual, I put that intention in there. Okay. In that same way, during the process, I was also asking on ways to understand if there was something that I needed to understand from my family that I haven't integrated into my life. So I was trying to acknowledge and see everything that I could see from being there. Okay. So yes, in a way, you start with an intent, like, okay, I want to heal my finances, for instance. I want to grow and be able to be way more productive, if that's something that, and I want to see what's happening here, and I want to move along. So the intent is important to do it when you're starting the ritual, once you light up the candles. And it's sort of like a conversation, because it won't burn down in 5 minutes. So you have to be, maybe you can answer a phone call or whatever, but you'll have to be there, and you'll have to be present with the ritual. Okay.
And what's the conversation you're having with your great grandparents? Because I don't think many of us ever met them or know them even by name.
Well, what I did is I researched their names. I never met them. I knew some stories from my mom's side, but I didn't know anything about my great grandparents from my dad's side. So I just put their name. And for me, it was interesting because I had done a constellation therapy like 2 years ago. And I found in that constellation that I had an agreement with my grandfather and his dad in regards to money. And that was pulling me negatively into scarcity. So I knew that I had something I have to see in that sense there.
Sorry,
But I was
and you knew that because the candle burned out really fast with your dad and your
right,
great and your grand and his father. That's how
right.
you knew that? Okay. So when the
Yes,
candle is burning really fast, it means there's an agreement or a tie or something happening.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And then you just have to focus more. Maybe it's like the flame is very, very small. So for me, it was like just hooked me, and I was like, what's going on here? I want to know what's happening. Why this is so small, right? I just wanted to get that rapport there and connection. And just trying to connect, and sometimes just even acknowledging that there is somebody there, is like, okay, I respect you, I acknowledge you, and I send you light. And by doing that, in some cases, it was just like, okay, I'm important, no? In a way, it's like, and it started to burn properly. That was my experience then. It was like, I was doing it
Really?
very,
Wow.
yeah, it was like very powerful because, and you will feel it once you're doing the ritual. You will feel a lot of power because it's like all of your ancestors there. You literally like invoking them into your living room, right? So it's very, very powerful. You feel a lot of power there. Sometimes it might happen that there is some family secret or something, and you might want to ask, okay, am I holding any family secrets here? Do I need to let go of something that I don't know that exists? Is there any bond here? Right? But you will have a sense of what's happening with you. The most important thing is, for me, it was number one, like cleanse yourself, like say everything you want to say once you acknowledge everybody, and then take responsibility and ask for permission to move along, right? And as I said, it's not going to be one time. Many times you'll need to go 3 to 4 times, and you can do it once a week maybe, or once every day. I did it once every day, like for a week.
So you repeat it until the candles burn properly.
Exactly, until the last candle that burns down is yours. That's the
Oh
objective.
shit. Okay. Yeah.
That's but for me, was like, I was like, the third day I did it, I was like, my candle was about to burn down. I was like, no, this can't happen. What do I need to see here? I was almost like trying to make some air for it. But I was like, okay, I take responsibility, and I ask for permission from everybody here to move along, to go follow my path, to be independent, and I want you to bless my pathway, right? And it was like, whoa, everything changed like that. It was magic.
Wow.
And that was like, I seriously, when my candle didn't burn, I was like jumping up and down in the middle of my living room and dancing. And I was like, yeah, because I had spent like 10 hours doing this. It was like, oh my God, there has to be something that I can, but it made it worked. And it was like, it was amazing.
Wow.
And
Yeah, you
I
definitely
talked
don't want 7-hour burn time candles.
right. I mean, it can take a couple of hours, and you don't have to be there the entire time. You can go and work and do your thing, but you want to go back and just acknowledge it, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
I wasn't like in the couch just looking at the candles
Sitting
for.
at it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a very powerful exercise, and it was a very powerful ritual because it made me be there. You know, I couldn't like go anywhere else. I had to look at my parents, my grandparents, my great grandparents. You know, I had to acknowledge each and every one of them. I had taken the time to find out what their names were. You know, and if you don't know them, it's okay. But if you can find out, that will make it more personal. Right? And I found after doing this, there's a lot of cultures around the world that they do a lot of rituals for their dead ancestors. You know, like in Mexico, we have the Day of the Dead. That is like, and it's like magical. You know, it's like the cemeteries, they put up with flowers, and it's like very, very mystical. And but all over the world, I found different cultures. I made a group from Korea a couple of years ago, and these guys they had a whole system to cleanse each one of your lineages, and they charges you like I don't know how many thousands of dollars for every line. It was like it feels like a little bit shady for me, but basically they do this as a ritual, you know, in different parts of the world because they understand that you have a lot of your ancestors have a lot of power, and they can give you a lot of power. And for me, yeah, since I done this, I had felt the difference big time. It's been very, very powerful. Just in a way that is like I feel way lighter in a way. And I knew that I had to work a couple of things with my dad especially, and everything started to open up in different ways after this. So it was pretty special.
So Sue is asking, what questions do you suggest we use to get things going and to ask to get over the candles burn time?
Well, okay, the first intent I will put is I want to release all blockages hindering my life progress. That will be a good thing to intend. How can I, what do I need to understand and dissolve? Familial, what family patterns do I need to dissolve and understand that currently are limiting me? Okay. What do I need to see from this? Okay. I aim to invite love, prosperity, and health into my family system. I will send this in the group if you guys want. I'll send the list of intents and questions that I created. And very importantly, seek to ask the blessing of your ancestors. That's one of the most important things from this. You're looking for their blessing. You're asking for their blessing. That's the most important intent in this ritual. Okay. If you, one of the things that I wrote down, that I want to release all of the contracts and agreements I may have with any particular ancestors, that I might have an agreement that I don't even know, or that I may any pattern that I'm repeating from any ancestor. Okay. It's a great space, it's a great time, as I was sharing with you guys, a great moment to talk to your parents, to heal your relationship with mom and dad, which is sometimes there's things that you don't even know that they are there, you know, but at least for me, I've seen a lot of release in talking to my parents and grandparents and being able to just be upfront on several subjects, you know, and say what I had to say. And this was a great moment to do it. And most importantly, there's a therapy, I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's called Ho'oponopono from Hawaii. It's very popular. You might. Well, one of the things that I took from that therapy and I applied it here is that in order for that therapy to work, you need to be 100% responsible for what's happening in your life. You are everything that's going on in your life, you're responsible for it. So basically what you want to do here is you take total responsibility for whatever you're going through in your life, and you say, I'm sorry, I forgive you. If you need to forgive someone, you ask for forgiveness, and you need to ask for forgiveness from someone as well. That's also very powerful. And you bless them, and you ask for their blessing. Okay? Those are some of the things that on the top of my mind, while I was preparing for this, I wrote down just to have a line on how to do it.
Beautiful.
I don't know. Yeah, it's very powerful. I'm only seeing the questions now. Perfect. Awesome. I don't know if anybody has any other question. We can.
Have you tried this, like entering Gnosis as well?
Yes, I did breath work.
Breath work. Okay.
Breath work on the second and the third time I did it.
Mm.
So yes, I think that you have to be in a space where you're completely in the zone, you know. If not gnosis, at least you have to be meditating with your mind center into this, right? But I think that going into gnosis, it's definitely going to be something that we should all try while doing this.
Mm-hmm. So, and he just said you keep repeating it until your candle is the last one to burn out. So that might mean 1 time, that might mean 3, that might mean 7 times, depending on how many contracts or bonds there are.
Most of the time, it will take 3. That's what I've seen with a lot of people that I shared this with. It will take 3 to 4 times at the most. I haven't met anybody that has had to do 7 or 8 times yet. But because also there's a lot of time in the process, you know, where you are being able to see things, because it's like it unfolds. There's certain information that unfolds to you on every ritual, right? You start feeling like a lot of love, or you feel something strange from this side, and it just cuts your attention. And it's an amazing way to see things, and just to be aware of it and acknowledge that, and go to that with that person or with that part of your system, and ask for forgiveness, forgive whatever you have to forgive, consciously or subconsciously as well. And it's very, very powerful, because since you're like in your space with your cardboard and with your ritual there, and it takes time, there's a lot of healing going on in each and every one of the rituals. You might feel emotional a little bit at some point. You might feel a little bit angry. It's okay. You might feel like very, very happy as well, very grateful. For me, all of these emotions came in different moments during the course of this ritual. And when it was finally over, it was like a sense of peace and freedom. It's a little bit hard to describe, but it was very, very special.
Okay. So we got a couple questions here about using tea candles. I'm assuming that's okay, but you just want to make sure these are not like 20-hour runtime candles. Because some tea candles you buy, they burn for quite a long time.
Let me get a let me show you guys what candles I use. Give me a second.
Although I do have some tea light candles that burn within an hour or two. Do we address each parent individually or the whole group, or do we just follow the candlelight? Oh, I think Rodrigo will have to answer that, but I think he said you acknowledge every single one of them.
Yes, you acknowledge every one of them. And you can acknowledge first as a whole, and then each and every one of them. Yeah, these are the tea candles, right? Like the very small ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the one you use. Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
perfect.
we're all gonna go burn some family trees now.
Yeah, enjoy it. It's gonna be, and I love to hear what you guys experience from it. I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. It's some of the things you whatever comes to you, don't talk about whatever you experience from this, at least for 15 days. Let it go into your system, and after
Let it
15 days you
process
can
and
share whatever.
integrate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if this would be like even more powerful if you had either like something from the individual, because a lot of, you know, rituals when you're doing it with somebody, having a piece of their hair or an item or even their photograph, you know, if it
Yeah,
would really connect the candle to that person.
that I'm sure it will. I'm
Mm.
sure there will be yes.
Although
You can put
difficult to get hair from your great grandparents. Great
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you have picture, right? You can be as creative as you want. As we know, magic is all about
Yeah.
the imagination, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Completely. Yeah.
For me, like learning their names was like that big thing, you know. I went into Ancestry and
Mm.
research. I was doing a couple of things that I need to know their names for legal purposes. So I'm doing the Spanish and the Portuguese citizenship, and I needed to know like that part of my family. I didn't know their names,
Mm.
so I took advantage of that, and but I really put intent on it. Once I was like in the ritual, I really took the time to see them, and it was very powerful because for me, those people didn't even exist before that, right? You
Mm-hmm.
never talk about your great grandparents, or most of them. Maybe there was one or two or three that you might know their name because your grandparents might still be alive or something. But from the other side, I never met them. I never heard from them. It was like, okay, but I learned a lot of things from them. You know, I found out some things in Ancestry, you know, which made it like I was able to see, not from all of them, right? But from some of them, I was able to see, okay, this guy was a salesman and he really lived in this city, you know, and so it was like special to you know to see them as part of your family,
Mm-hmm.
you know. It's a and it just I love to talk to you guys about it in a couple of weeks to see what you guys experience, but I'm sure it's going to be very powerful and very you will feel a great release from this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you put an intention to solve an issue at a time or just open a conversation with all of them? You can do it as you wish, but you can the way I did it is I opened a conversation with them all, and the intention that I needed to solve was what took place during the ritual. Okay.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us. This is super unique and it's kind of got like Akashic Ouija board vibes to it, mixed up with a family tree. Very, very,
Right.
very, very beautiful ritual. And we'll follow your recommendation and just integrate for 15 days and see what happens and share on the back of that. We'll start a thread in the
Perfect.
group for people to share what came through or how they experienced this ritual.
Yes. Yes. Velma says, thank you. I'm sure it's going to be drama. Yeah, there might be some drama. Yes.
So just a question from Sophie, what happens if someone else's candles burns last? Basically, you got to repeat it, is my understanding. Yours has to be the last one. It means there's still a bond or a tie there.
Right. Right. And you want to take inventory after when they start lighting it down, you know, like you write that, okay, this was the first one that light off, and then just so you know what was the order and you see if it's different next time you see it. The most important thing is that your candle burns the last. What orders are the candles? Like the map. Okay, so this is like you are looking to the bottom of the tree here where it says me, and then your mom is on your left side, okay? Your dad on your right side, and then your grandpa, it goes on top of your dad. It has to go this way, you know, like the great grandfather, like the masculine side goes on your right, which looks at the left, but you're looking at, you're seeing this from, like, if I was having this system in the physical way, my parents will be behind of me, not on front of me, like behind of me, because they are supporting my system, right? So this little me guy is looking towards the root of the tree.
And do you light the great grandparents first, or do you light your own first?
Your own first, and then you can do the way you want.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I start with my great grandparents first, and then my grandparents, and my parents then.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay. And I'll post the replay if anyone has any more questions. I'm sure Rodrigo would be happy to answer them if you get stuck or you need some clarity on something.
Yeah, reach out. Whatever you need, just let me know, and I'll love to answer any questions.
And Rodrigo, just for anyone that's watching this through replay, maybe outside of this group, where can they connect with you?
On Facebook, Rodrigo Sepulveda, or Instagram, my ID is R Sepulveda DV, D as in David, V as in Victor, and that's the easiest. Perfect.
Everybody go connect with Rodrigo and start stalking his profiles. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. It's just gorgeous and beautiful, and I love the effort that you put into that diagram. Very easy to understand, and what a beautiful way to connect with ancestral lines. Very, very beautiful. Thank you.
Well, thanks for the invitation, Kat. My pleasure, and I hope it helps and it adds value.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. All right, thank you everybody for joining us. What a beautiful way to connect. You can add one of your frequency currencies once you do this ritual into your bank. I think this is probably worth way more than one frequency currency as well, because it's a long ass one. So put some bank dollars in there, whatever you see fit. And yes, enjoy this ritual. Keep us posted in the next 2 weeks. See you guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.